Dímelo, mi gente. Marco here again with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the state of DePIN in 2025. This is a great, amazing report by Messari. They always have some of the best, amazing reports in all of crypto. So yeah, we're going to be going over all of it. We kind of went over a little bit with USD AI over some slides, but not every single slide. So if you do not know what DePIN is basically decentralized physical infrastructure networks, basically networks that leverage blockchain technology to create, these like peer-to-peer decentralized kind of communities, whether it's wireless, whether it's something like Helium, which gives you like mobile coverage, render, like AI compute. We're going to be going over all of that. Honestly, this is one of the best reports I've read in quite some time in all of crypto, and I'm really just bullish over this whole system. I know in 2021 was kind of like the bull peak of all these like DePIN, and it was like the hot new topic. I know RWA is like the hot new topic this year with tokenization, but stuff like this and applications that are real world that actually provide a lot of value into the system and into crypto and overall just in everything. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. So we're going to be starting off with the authors as always. So thank you so much for Dylan Bain, which is a senior enterprise research analyst at Messari, as well as Salvador Gala. He's a co-founder of Escape Velocity, and they manage over 100 million in venture capital firms focused on crypto-enabled businesses. So thank you so much for this. As always, I'll leave every single thing in the description down below. So they're basically saying there's an elephant in the room. Is DePIN finish? Is it like, they start with a lot of tweets here, any DePIN projects. And I'm going to be the first one to say I currently use some DePIN applications. I use Helium, for my mobile coverage, and it works perfectly. And you probably use it too, especially if you're using AT&T or something like that. You're probably using a lot of these networks and you just have not even figured it out. So the market seems to think so. That's what they say. So DePIN class of 2018 to 2022 are down 94 to 99% from the all-time high. This has Helium, it has Filecoin, Akash, Honey or Hive Mapper, Dymo, and LivePeer. I'll be honest. I know they're down 94 to 99%, and I always say, it's so bad investing in these projects. Not these specifically, but projects are down 99%. For the most part, it is true. But I will say, though, they actually provide, real world utility, especially Helium and Akash and some other ones. But investors have a major misconception about DePIN. They are operating outdated data, and that's why we're here, to talk about this data. So in 2021, pre-revenues were, demand constrained, unsustainable, unprofitable with high inflation, unbelievable overvaluation. So some of them were over 1,000x multiples, and growth was majority driven by retail speculation. Which honestly, we need that. Please, we need more retail speculation. I hate that is. Well, I don't hate it, but majority of the speculation that we have now and the growth is institutional, which is pretty good, but I think retail needs to come back here. But DePINs in 2025 are revenue generating, so 72 million in 2025, supply constrained, sustainably profitable with little or no supply inflation, undervalued relative to growth with 10 to 25 multiples, and growth driven by utility and efficiency, not subsidies. So, that is great and amazing. And it's not investors' fault. They say this is coming from what they're saying, obviously, like the marketers and everything, right? I think the next big thing in the world is going to be marketing. Who can market the best, and people use their products, because every single day, we see, this new AI products coming out, this new that, but almost no one is using it. I think that's going to be the next big thing, the marketing side. So in 2025, almost every DePIN has supply side growth and a passionate community. 1 million plus AAR, but our revenue isn't verifiable yet. An ecosystem of partners for core marketing and centralized exchanges interested to launch a token next quarter, but only the leading DePINs have miners that make money from paid usage, not incentives, revenues that benefit token holders and stakers, customers who spend more each month, so net retention, that's super important, and low cost of way of financing deployments, so InfraFi. And we're talking about that as infrastructure finance. So this was really, important. So net retentions, customers who spend more each month. So that's what you want, right? You want your users to keep coming back. A lot of times in crypto, we have a lot of, airdrop farmers and people that just here to like farm airdrops and not really use, the systems. With DePIN, people are actually using it. So today, DePIN only has 3 viable paths to remaining for scalable at DePIN globally and sustainably. This is them. This isn't me thinking, but what they say is path 1. So InfraFi enabled stablecoin holders to earn yield by financing of physical infrastructure assets. We already saw that with USD AI, so go and check out that video. Capex-light. So capex is like a capital expenditures something like that. So it's basically how much the company is investing in like the infrastructure. So focus on infrastructure that requires relatively little capex and can be monetized quickly. And then path 3, a bull market timing. So launch a token during a generational bull market where interest rates are near zero. And that's basically Helium and Filecoin. Then we have GeoNet, Grass that I also use. Daylight, which is amazing. I want to talk about Daylight, and then USD AI. I don't know why they say the bull market one is like bad. Obviously, I think we need that bull market. And I'm not saying it's coming. I'm not, but I think once DePIN starts becoming even more mainstream than it should be, I think it's going to be really, really good. So DePIN is a 10 billion sector generating 72 million in 2025 on-chain revenues for sustainable economies. And I want to take, a look at this, right? Because some of the things that make DePIN really good is the community and the miners that it has. So as of right now, so it looks like it takes, from my understanding, to recoup for one miner hardware cost, it takes 6 to 12 months with Helium, with Hive Mapper 9 to 11, Rover 13 to 38, GeoNet so 15 to 21, and Dymo 19 to 32. And on-chain revenues are increasing. So 2024 was 64 million. This past year, 2025 is 72 million. So that's what we want to see. And even before that, 2022, 2023 is 5 million. Oh my God. Obviously, there were not as many projects as there are today. And then if we take a look at the market cap, right, the market cap or the circulating market cap last year was 50 million and today is 10 billion. So I think it's going to be, I'm not saying it's undervalued or value, whatever it may be, but, if you're looking at DePIN, this is one of the places to kind of take a look at. Also, DePIN raised an all-time high of 1 billion in 2025, primarily at seed and Series A rounds. So I'm not the best in Series A and seed funding and seed rounds or whatnot. What I will say, though, is the company. So Walrus is one that a lot of people are talking about. They raised 140 million. Then this is on Sui, and we already talked about Walrus protocol, but wow, 140 million is by no means little. 00, I also love this project. Hive Mapper, also really, really good. And Daylight is going to be really amazing. So there is money out there, and if you're building any DePIN protocols, definitely take a look at these lead investors, right? Or take some of the blueprint from these companies that raise so much money if you are kind of like needing. Also, they say we finally have proof DePIN revenue growth is more resilient than DeFi and layer ones in bear markets. Obviously, there's bear markets and not everyone is trading for the most part, etc., etc. So the token prices have dramatically decreased, right? If we see here, Helium 77% down, GeoNet 41% down. If you take a look, like Pendle 61%, Athena is 78%, Uniswap's 57% down. Everything is just through the board, horrible. But if you take a look here at revenue change, Helium is up 801%. GeoNet is 170%. So we're kind of seeing how these, companies, let's just call them what it is, companies or dApps are just generating so much more revenue than they were a couple of years ago. And I expect that number to kind of keep increasing as, we move forward. They also have proof that top AI labs are paying DePIN 10 million per quarter and growing. So some of the top labs, I could only really know Grok, ChatGPT, we have NVIDIA, we have Microsoft and all that other stuff. So it looks like they are also using, not only regular people, but also the big AI and tech companies are also using them. So that's actually pretty insane. So while researching for this report, EV3 review invoices and customer contracts representing 80% of Grass publicly reported revenues for 2025. They made 12 million revenue. And you might think, wow, 12 million is not that much. For for a company that literally just started recently, I think it's quite a few chunk of change, right? And DePINs are cheaper than ever and are getting cheaper every day with compounding growth. So we see here the growth that they're having and how much they're making in revenue and the multiples that they should be trading at. So I'm not one to look at multiples. Obviously, if you are a trader and you are, more accustomed to those kind of stuff, obviously I just wanted to mention it. So like I said, really, really amazing. So I'm not going to be going over all of this, but I do want to say, so USDAI we already went about, so that is compute. So USDAI earns yield and loans secured by GPUs and data centers. Also Daylight. So Daylight earns yields in energy assets, solar panels plus battery by selling power to homeowners and to the electric grid. And Dawn, so bandwidth. Dawn earns yield on wireless assets, radios, and servers by selling internet subscription to homes and businesses. And then, the last one is InfraFi. So it leverages DeFi's primitives to bring composable infrastructure yields on chain. So these are kind of all the big protocols. And then we see all the tokens here. I'm not going to say what coin is the best or what coin, is going to win. I haven't researched that much yet into what tokens or what coins are going to be, the one use in kind of all of this. But it is exciting though. They are in almost every blockchain. So Solana, Ethereum, Base, Arbitrum, Bear, Plasma. I think this is in every single bridge or WAs. They're probably going to be into everything sometime soon. So what I want to talk about next is, what they are, right? And they kind of mention it. So for bandwidth, we have Helium, Grass, 00. For energy, we have Fuse and Glow. For sensors, we have FiberMapper, GeoNet. And for compute, we have BitTensor, Akash, Filecoin, IO.net, Render. And yeah, so this is really funny. This is a pretty good meme. So the daughter asked Dad, how do you compound capital at 25% for a decade? I bought misunderstood high growth infrastructure business at cheap multiples. And then the kid says, you're a legend. So obviously not financial advice. Do your own research. Thank you for being here. We're doing the research for you, right? But it's up to you, right? Which one? There's so many different protocols and not all of them are going to win, right? So be sure if you are investing in DePIN that you choose the correct one. But what I wanted to say is that, it has proven user demand driven by cost plus speed advantages and trades at a single digit multiples of 2 to 5 year forward profits. So they're also increasing favorable regulatory environments, right? We have come to a point in technology that it's really, really hard to make stuff as even faster, right? If you want to talk to someone across the world, you just call them on WhatsApp. If you want to send money, you use Solana, right? So all these kind of stuff, they are improving, but it's really hard. But I think DePIN, if you are looking for a more decentralized way to interact, DePIN is definitely the way to go. So let's take a deep dive into the leaders. So the leader, for me, and this is the one I use, is Helium. So Helium's wireless network serves 2 million daily active users with mobile connectivity to their smartphones. And this is why I say, if you use T-Mobile and AT&T, you're probably already using Helium without even knowing it. Also, 600K subscriber has signed up for a cell phone plan with the Helium Mobile. Like I said, the token is here. You could definitely take a look. I do want to talk about for almost all of these, right? The value comparison. So what they're kind of competing against and actually how big the competition is, right? We were talking about Verizon Wireless, AT&T, T-Mobile, SpaceX, right? And usually these legacy telecom, stocks, they trade at 6 to 10x EBITDA. With a less than 5% year-over-year growth, which is actually insane. But if we're taking a look at Helium or HNT, it has a 20% month over month growth, right? not even like year over year. We're talking about month over month. Obviously, these are big conglomerates, right? Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile. And my dad invests, I think it's in AT&T, or I think he finally sold. I forgot, but I don't know. I think this is one of the most exciting ones. Also, we're not going to be going over all the bears and bulls views, but I do want to say, right, I've talked so positive, and I think this is one of the biggest positives, right? So international expansion represents massive upside with large total addressable markets. So Helium is expanding internationally to millions of users in Mexico and in Brazil. They team up with Movistar. I think this was last year, a partnership. I want to interview them. I hit them up to see, what can they say, but I haven't been able to be successful with that. We're in conversations, but just never had the time to kind of interview them. But I'm gonna hit them up again and see if they are open to. But the VAR views, and these are really important, right? And I'm not the best telecommunications expert, so I really don't know. But it says, what are these margins for ends? So Helium set price at 0.50 cents per gigabyte in 2021, based on market rates for CBRS. Wi-Fi offload, which Helium pivoted to in 2025, it is only worth now 10 to 25 per gigabyte. So it is hard, and also kind of who controls it. And everyone supposedly, I don't know how true this is, but customers want rebundling, not unbundling. So think about, and even my friend, he was just telling me, oh, I just got into Spectrum and they have like a phone, internet, and something else, and TV. And it was only like 30, 40 bucks. I forgot how it was. Maybe not that cheap, but it was like, wow, everything is like cheaper. So 22% plus of Americans buy homes plus mobile internet in a bundle, up to 10% in 2017. So customers want one integrated provider that keeps them connected everywhere. So basically, they don't want to have Helium and then Spectrum and then AT&T and then this and that. They basically kind of want like everything. So let's see how that goes. I do think Helium is a great, amazing product that everyone should be at least trying to use not to replace, but like to substantiate, right? Especially if you are traveling abroad. I think Helium is one of the best things that you could, or apps that you could definitely use. So the next one is Dawn's wireless network, services 20K plus subscribers and covers 15 million plus homes with fixed connectivity. So 25,000 Americans get their home internet from Andrea, the first ISP on Dawn's network. So this one is really interesting too. I haven't seen this one. I had to research it, so I'm sorry about that. But legacy telecoms like Verizon, AT&T, as well as Charter, so that's Spectrum, Comcast, and Cox, are all, they have like not that many year-over-year growth. And this is literally just the beginning for Dawn Wireless. So I don't know if they're gonna be able to connect. I don't know if there's gonna be one DePIN project that does solve everything. I don't know how that's going to work. I think eventually maybe, but I don't know just yet. Also, Dawn has not launched a token, so let's see. Keep your eye out. Alpha, I don't know, alpha, but this could be one that definitely you could take a look at. Also, the regulatory hurdles around spectrum licensing threaten viability. So let's see how that goes, right? I don't know. There's so much. This is like a small company, right? Compared to like something like Starlink or SpaceX or whatever it is. 6G. I didn't even know 6G was a thing. I thought it was just 5G. So the long-term competition for not just Dawn, Helium, all these other stuff is going to be huge. So let's see if some of these companies even buy them, right? Who knows? So let's see. Also, 00 Fiber Networks has 3.4 terabytes TBPS of capacity and powers 40% of Solana blocks. 00 is a great, amazing company. Definitely take a look at them. They have over 400 plus validators representing 40% of Solana's mainnet stake. Currently use 00. And then we can see, let me see if we can see here where the companies are. So they're all the way in America, in Europe. They have one in Brazil. This is, what is this, the Philippines, maybe? Sorry. But yeah, let me just adjust this again. So yeah, Double Zero, amazing. Definitely check them out. The bull case, to me, I think is one of the biggest bull cases is the adoption for Solana validators, right? How fast and easy and the network is just going to be working at a light speeds. Let's see how it does. I think that's going to be kind of the thing. The one bad thing is, they say, and obviously not financial advice, they say the right time to buy the token is 2 years from now, not today. So it trades up to crazy multiples like helium. So let's see if it drops down, or maybe it's trading that much because people kind of expect or know that it's going to be so big in the future. So one to definitely take a look at. The next one is Grass. Grass is another one that I kind of use. So Grass has scraped 50 plus PB of data from the public web and generates 50 plus in run rate revenue. So that is actually super amazing. What I will say though, this one has the strongest revenue growth in DePIN. What I will say though is how everyone now is like, oh my god, they're stealing my data, they're using my data, all this, and they also have like there's not that much demand of decentralized like AI training per se. So let's see where it goes. Obviously, AI is gonna be they're making fun of friends for investing like I think it was like 30 million in like AI science and whatnot. They since then had stated that they have invested more, but everyone's going to be investing in AI. Everyone's going to be doing this. So I don't know how much the demand is going to be for decentralized like web and AI training. I think it's going to be huge. I believe in Grass, but let's see how it is. And obviously every single bear is going to have like the regulatory uncertainty, right? But almost every protocol, these are redefining how we use products in today's age. So I'm not too much concerned about this, but I understand why. This one is the one I wanted to talk about. This is so dope. So Daylight raised 85 million to integrate solar plus batteries starting in the US. So US homeowners sign up for a Daylight subscription to get cheaper, greener, and more resilient electricity in their homes. So if you could sign up, definitely take a look at this, especially if you have a house. I know nowadays, today, getting a house is extremely hard. If you are having one, congratulations, kudos to you. But yeah, if you are looking to a house or a friend or maybe in an apartment that you are definitely looking to get, cheaper and greener electricity, definitely want to check out. I haven't used them, obviously, and I'm not sponsored by them at anyone. And I'm also going to check them out. So this is just, kind of something that to take into account. With this, the negatives, I would say, as always, it's regulatory clarity, and InfraFi is in like the infancy state, right? It's not gaining as much attraction just yet. So I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna make a video about that, and it's also live in Massachusetts, Illinois, and it's gonna be launching in California, Connecticut, and New Jersey. So it's in those 5 states where 20% of the population are obviously like such big states, right? So it says we'll be eligible to get solar plus batteries in their homes with zero money down and save 30% on energy bills. I know everyone's looking for savings, everything, with inflation and everything being so expensive, every single bill that you could save up money, definitely try to take advantage of that. And if it's saving you this much, right, 5% is good, 10% is good, 30%, wow, that is amazing. So yeah, let's see how they go. I'm definitely going to research them more. So you learn something new, watch my videos every day, as well as I myself too. So Fuse generates 40 million in annual revenues by providing energy to 250k houses in the UK. This was in the UK. I don't really, I haven't been to the UK in quite a while. So there is that. But Like I said, I don't know much about the UK and everything that they're doing, but that is pretty dope. So Glow has raised 30 million and has deployed 3.2 megawatts of solar capacity, generating 16K plus in carbon credits. So again, this is really good. I'm not also the best when it comes to like sustainability and, not sustainability, because I am conscious about all of that, but I don't know how much the market for all these things are, right? So, like it says it's here. So, subsidies alone are not enough to sustain network economics. So, most of these like solar energy and all these like renewable energies are really expensive and haven't taken off like everyone thought they were. I know in Puerto Rico a lot of people are using solar energy. Puerto Rico is an island, right? Puerto Rico is an island, and the solar energy is good, but it's not even kind of enough, right? We need other sorts of energy. So I'm interested to see, obviously nothing against Glow Energy, right? And hopefully with crypto, those subsidies are better, right? That's why we have. So let's see how they do. And obviously, the carbon credits are incredible, and accelerated demand for energy creates a massive TAM. So TAM is total addressable market for those that do not know. GeoNet RTK's corrections network enhances GPS accuracy in 50K plus cities for 130 customers. So this is really amazing. Another product I have seen for a while. I haven't used it just yet, but another product I have seen and a lot of people are talking about it. So this one, supply side is built, revenue growth now drives deflation. So that is amazing to see. But some of the downsides are long-term sales cycles, slow revenue generation. So B2B adoption often requires sales cycles of quarters or even years, which both creates execution risk and increase capital intensity. So let's see how that is. I personally, haven't used GeoNet as of yet, but let's see. They also say that they have the most consistent track record in crypto. So GeoNet has grown revenues every quarter without fail for the past 3 years at 45% quarter over quarter CAGR. So the worst quarter that they grew, revenue was 18%. So every single year they're growing and growing and growing. It's amazing to not take a look at. So Geo.net or GeoNet is one that I'm not saying buy the token, but definitely check it out. HiveMapper too. I will say though about HiveMapper, and this is just me, it's not to the point that it's gonna replace Google Earth, or not Google Earth, Google Maps, definitely Apple Maps. Apple Maps is by far the worst. HiveMapper is definitely better. And they also have, let me see where it was. So it says 5K drivers and fleets use HiveMapper dashcams to map 30% of global roads, and they're all global. Let me see if it's actually on this one. So I don't know where it was. I saw it, but they have like more than 50% of like the whole world. So let's see how that goes. They will say you can buy it even if you wanted. So again, we're talking about the coin, right? We're not talking about the HiveMapper, the app itself. So even if you could try to buy it, you couldn't. Let's see if it gets a little bit better. It looks like the tokenomics completely killed the project. I'm not saying, I haven't even taken a look as of recently. So correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah. BitTensor AI Compute Network grows 100% plus year over year and now counts with 125 plus subnets. BitTensor or Tau, I know a lot of people are talking about it. I'm not bullish on it. I just haven't seen it in a while. They also say here that's gonna have like a Tau spot ETF. A lot of ETFs have been talked about. I know today I saw news. It was like, oh my god, 21 shares files for like an Ondo ETF. That has been tried to been filed at least since last year. I don't know what the difference was between now and then, but I know that on the one was being talked about for a while. I don't know if the ETF is out for Tau just yet, but let's see if it grows. Just the AI, not gonna be talking about it too much. Here's the bullet cases. IO.net AI interface. network has served 2.8 billion tokens and generates 8 million run rate GVM. Pretty good. IO.net, also another one that we talked about in the channel. Definitely need to kind of check it out again. A lot of these are fighting for like AI compute, which is going to be big. Don't get me wrong, but it's really, really hard. Live Peers video transcoding network is now 72% of AI workloads, generating 700,000 in revenue. I don't know why they put million. I would have just put 700K, but still, pretty good. Can't complain about that. Filecoin too. I'm gonna be honest with Filecoin. I haven't researched it in a while, but Filecoin, it says storage capacity and usage are down, but Filecoin remains one of the most liquid DePIN tokens. So, yeah, I think Walrus is doing the same that they're doing, right? So let's see where Filecoin goes. I don't have a belief in them, but no one's paying to store files on Filecoin. So 90% of Filecoin's revenue in Q4 generated from penalty fees on defaulted legacy commitments. Yeah, it looks like even here, Filecoin devs are starting their own project instead. So I'm not saying, if you're a Filecoin believer, don't believe in it. I mean, don't not believe in it because of me. But yeah, I just look like Filecoin is something that probably not gonna last. Was probably never gonna take out. And that's not to say it's a bad project or you shouldn't use it. Obviously, if you're going to invest or you're going to see this video, I recommend to use every single product that, we talk about before investing. The next one is Render's AI Compute Network. So renders 1.5 million frames per month and generates 1.7 million in revenue, which is absolutely amazing. What we want to see. Full disclosure, I invest in Render as has not been the best, has not been treating me good, but Render is much more about rendering. In 2025, Render passed governance proposal to expand into enterprise grade general purpose AI compute, for expanding the addressable market. I will say though, it is hyper competitive GPU markets, like I said, threatens long-term pricing power. So, and then it says plateauing revenue suggests maturing demand for rendering. So let's see how that goes. Not what we want to see, obviously, not what we want to see. But I do still believe in Render. And Akash too. Akash was really, really good. I spoke with the team. I think when was it? It was when I was in Austin at Consensus. I spoke with them. Really nice and great people. But like I said, some of these are going to succeed, and some of them, are just the marketing is just not there. So it says here limited revenue tractions and low utilization rates. So despite a favorable macro backdrop for compute demand, Akash realized revenue remains modest, and historically utilization rates are volatile, ranging from 20 to 80%. So let's see how this is. They're competing against Amazon Web Services, Azure, some of the biggest ones. So like I said, these are so hard to kind of scale at large unless you have a great, amazing product. And even then, you might be bought out by them. So let's see how that goes. Anyways, some other milestones. So I'm not gonna be going over all of it. How long has this video been? 33 minutes. Oh my god, this is like a podcast. But yeah, some of the other ones are right here that I definitely recommend to check out. Bandwidth is here, other milestones. Just take a picture. I'm not gonna be going over all of them. I think we went over most of it. And then yeah, this is the whole DePIN sector. So if you are interested in any other DePIN kind of resources or stuff to kind of look, so we have the physical resource networks, the wireless ones, geospatial networks, what the hell, the resource networks here, bandwidth networks, infrastructure, the different chains, and then the primitives. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Oh my god, this was such a long video. I'm sorry that I made such a long video, but honestly, for 59 pages, and we went over almost all of them, I think we did pretty good. Anyways, you just stayed until the end of the video. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. As always, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And without further ado, I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.